Hello and welcome to the Malika Writes channel. My name is Malika Writes and today I'm going to be talking about Eowyn and the feminine need to fight. Eowyn is a character that has captured the imagination of many women. She is the woman who killed the Witch King of Angmar, the leader of the Wraiths. That act alone seems to make her stand out when it comes to stories about women. But to see Eowyn's prowess on the battlefield as her only victory is to turn her into a raging feminist icon and make her I am no man speech a political and cultural statement. Tolkien, as a Christian and scholar, would have been very familiar with the different archetypal feminine figures. In my Proverbs 31 woman video, I outlined how the Bible defines the ideal feminine woman. And in many of the mythological stories, the duality of femininity is often represented. In the Bible, the image of women and lamps of oil is a constant one. The lamp represents light, and light represents life. In Genesis, life is the first thing to be brought forth so that creativity can take place. Tolkien also makes the sun feminine. In most world mythologies, the first primordial being is also feminine. However, chaos is often what is present before order, and therein we have the other side of the feminine archetype, the goddess that yields the lamp and the knife, or the goddess with three faces who stands at crossroads, or the Norse goddess of the underworld who is half fresh and beautiful and half rotting and ghastly. Our forebears have always acknowledged the duality of the feminine. Eowyn is so popular with the modern woman seeking to find true femininity after the propaganda of the 50s and the sexual liberation of the 70s because Eowyn portrays that duality. Yes, war is the providence of men who are physically stronger and whose archetypal story it is to face chaos and restore order. But there comes a time when it is the duty of all who desire to live in peace to face chaos. There comes a time when the hour is so dire that mothers must hide their babies and join the ranks alongside their children. In The Lord of the Rings, the final battle is certainly that dire. The freedom of Middle-earth is at stake. Principles of freedom and valor are about to be buried beneath the black tide of the orcs. This war is not just a physical one. It is the greatest war of the age, and two principles, good and evil, battle against each other, and evil has the upper hand. To this war all are called, and all have the right and the duty to fight. Eowyn is in some ways a young Galadriel. They are both remarkably similar in appearance. Both are described as tall and proud, fair and pale. I've spoken about the feminine journey before, so for this video I'm going to focus on the feminine need to fight. Within the human woman is both the feminine and masculine, though the feminine outweighs the masculine. Both need to be explored and understood. The relationship between the feminine and masculine is not supposed to be chaotic. They are supposed to complement each other. But this is not a process that happens naturally. Women are not born ideal feminine women, just as men are not born ideal masculine men. It's a journey that has to be undertaken. It must be learnt, or these traits will be used for tyranny. If a girl has been raised well, then the first time she will encounter the embodiment of the feminine essence is when she begins her monthly cycle. The girl will experience some form of discomfort, and for most it will be extreme pain. So the first time a girl encounters femininity, it causes pain, leaving a subconscious wound. The mother, who is the tangible embodiment of femininity, begins to change in the eyes of the girl. It's usually around this time that girls begin to keep secrets from their mothers. The father, who is the tangible embodiment of masculinity, represents power and strength and protection, and the girl will idolize masculinity. Even more so if a father is not present, because then she will have no present reality to counter the fiction that her subconscious mind is beginning to form. Just as boys idolize their mothers because of the masculine opposition of their fathers, and how that causes a subconscious wound, girls idolize their fathers. If the girl has a good mother, their mother will begin to show them the strengths of femininity by embodying it and separating the girl from her father. This separation must take place in a healthy fashion. If the separation doesn't take place at all, then the girl will develop masculine traits and she'll undervalue the feminine. These masculine traits will serve her well in acquiring material goods in the world, but they will damage her internally, leaving her feminine essence underdeveloped and vulnerable. Ironically, the masculine shield that she puts up opens her up to more pain in the long term. If the separation happens but is done in an unhealthy way, then the girl will seek out masculine affection in ways that are destructive, leaving her open to nefarious intent, and she'll lack the proper boundaries to filter who gets past the borders her father ought to have patrolled. In ancient times, separation from the masculine meant taking the girl into a guild of women and teaching her the skills that women utilized: basket weaving, berry picking, cloth making, which herbs and roots would be useful and how to recognize them. In other words, attention to detail. While men dealt with the border control and took on the dangerous hunting tasks, women focused on the details. A bad hunting trip might kill off some of the men, but an ill-prepared meal or poisonous berries could kill off the entire group. One thing we need to realize is that these tasks are interchangeable. They're not fixed. A hunting trip could last weeks. In the meantime, men would have to gather berries, roots, and other such plants as they could find to eat. In later human history, if your clothes tore during a hunt, you couldn't hurry back to the village and wait for a woman to patch it up. Resourcefulness is a trait that thankfully both genders share. That being said, you could never have a situation where all the men stay behind and all the women go out to hunt. There are certain things that are limited to the different genders, like childbearing, for example, is something only women can do. The feminine role is to ensure that life within the borders continues, while the masculine role is to ensure that the borders are kept up and those who must go outside of the protective borders are prepared for the chaos that will meet them. This is why to view Eowyn as a Captain Marvel-like character would be the complete wrong approach, and would suggest that Eowyn is simply a male character with a female exterior. In The Lord of the Rings, Eowyn is in direct opposition to Wormtongue, bringing Harry Potter into it. Eowyn alone aided King Theoden every day, preserving his life and allowing a flicker of hope to remain alive in Rohan. Because of Eowyn, Wormtongue's campaign of decay could not come to fruition. That is the heroine's journey, a fight against death and decay that seeks to destroy the life within the kingdom. Men are responsible for defending the walls, but order endures because women will it, and if the women are idle, then rot will begin to set in, and decay from within is less easily cured. In Eowyn's story, Theoden can be used as representative of order. He is overall the king, and Eowyn kills the Witch King in defense of Theoden. It is also interesting to note that Eowyn's desire to die in battle is awoken after her heart is broken by Aragorn. There is a case to be made that the masculine shield comes up after the heartbreak to protect Eowyn from further harm in the short term, just as many women are likely to do after experiencing emotional pain. Just as the girl gravitates towards masculinity after the subconscious wound of her feminine interaction with her monthly cycle. But I don't believe that this is the reason Eowyn needed to fight. As I expressed earlier, Eowyn needed to fight because it is her duty to preserve order. Tolkien was very particular with his writing, and it is important that Eowyn killed the Witch King in the defense of Theoden. Eowyn is not portrayed as a Mary Sue character. She suffers gravely for her service, and even after she is healed by Aragorn, her shield sort of stays up as she heals. But after meeting Faramir, she is able to soften once again, and her shield is replaced with a physical man. After that, she no longer desires to die in battle, and instead turns her mind to healing. Like Galadriel, Eowyn becomes not a queen, but the Lady of Athelin, described as having the golden beauty of the sun and the white beauty of snow, just like Galadriel's hair was described as having caught the light of Laurelin in a net. Laurelin was the tree whose fruit was used to make the sun. Eowyn marries Faramir, whom I believe is a character very similar to Aragorn, and she gives up the pursuit of glory to pursue the task of healing and sustaining the peace of the Fourth Age. Eowyn is a character that we can all admire and learn something from, but she is an especially admirable character to women. She speaks to women more closely than any modern and perhaps even some ancient female characters. Her bravery and courage is counted as no less than her male counterparts, yet she does not seek to be a man or one-up the men. And to recognise her only by her military prowess is to put her into the very same cage that she so desperately wished to escape from. I want to thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope it gave you something to think about. Let me know what you thought of it in the comment section. If you have any questions or any comments that you want to make, I'll be happy to read them and also to answer them. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. This has been the Malika Writes channel.